If you've watched any Counter-Strike events in the past 3 years, you probably know who m0NESY is. He's an opera from Russia that previously played for G2 Esports and is currently playing for Team Falcon. Now m0NESY, since his first day in Tier 1, has gotten massive praise for basically being the next Simple, mainly due to his flashy playstyle and just the flicks that he's able to pull off, which frankly, no one else can pull off except for him. He had always been an absolute monster on G2, even achieving the highest rating out of any player that attended the Copenhagen Major, the first Counter-Strike 2 Major, the one that G2 unfortunately lost because Na'Vi beat them. But m0NESY was still the highest rated player of the entire tournament. However, since being signed to Team Falcon, several question marks were raised about m0NESY. His form seems to be a bit more inconsistent, and people would like to know why. Today, I'm gonna take a look at that. I have the two demos pulled up in front of me from the best of 3 between Team Falcons and Aurora at the Esports World Cup not too long ago. Alright, so demo number 1, Falcons versus Aurora, and it is on Inferno. m0NESY gets dropped a pair of Julies and is able to buy armor on this pistol round. He also has a smoke, so this whole pistol round is basically revolving around him, it seems like, judging by the amount of util that he gets. And it seems to be the correct call, because Aurora are indeed heading towards B. Actually, no, they're kind of pausing in middle. Let me see what happens here. Aurora seems to be splitting across the map a little bit. Bomb is going towards A. Santaros is holding banana with Wakadia and Major right behind them. Meanwhile, Joda and Woxic are creeping up second mid, trying to get apps control. Santaros is going to slowly push, and they backed off completely. Never mind. They get the call that it is actually A. m0NESY is going to rotate over. He might have an inkling that someone's in that smoke, or okay, well, now he knows that they're on site. Ooh. That's a very unlucky dink from Major. Wait! I have an announcement to make. Are you someone that sits behind your computer pretty much all day, every day, and needs something to drink in order to be able to keep going with whatever you're doing? Well, then let me introduce you to my first partnership, W.GG. W creates sugar-free energy drinks in a lot of different flavors, very similar to the likes of G Fuel, Gamer Subs, and others. Now, the tub that I have right here is the caffeine-free Fineberry Splash Tub. Now, I drink this stuff on stream all the time because genuinely, partnerships aside, it genuinely is just that good. It has a very strong flavor in it, and again, no sugar. Yes, it has caffeine in it, but no sugar. Currently, the available flavors are the Japanese Yuzu flavor, the Japanese Soda flavor, the m0NESY flavor, the Shadow Monarch flavor, the Igris Strike flavor.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm sure that a lot of these names sound very confusing to you, and honestly, you're right, the names are pretty confusing. I didn't know what to pick at first either, which is why W gives you the chance to pick a mystery bundle, which includes a random tub as well as a random shaker. Now, if you're someone like me and you already have a shaker because you bought one at your local grocery store, that is completely understandable. W's got you covered with a Chef's Choice tub, which is basically the same thing, but without the shaker. If you're interested in trying out W, then make sure to use my code ASPECT for 10% off your order, and please enjoy the video. Alright, I've skipped forward a few rounds because frankly, absolutely nothing happened. They just saved 2 rounds in a row, basically, but now m0NESY has an op, so I'm very interested in what's going to happen here. Yusuke is throwing some util for him. He's going to not peek middle, which is interesting, because I feel like before, like in 2024, like just, you know, before in general, he would peek middle a lot more often. But he kills Santaros right away, falls back, flashes top mid, and re-peeks. Jota, meanwhile, is close to Boiler. Never mind. He's actually going through balcony, where Tessas is holding it from pit. Yusuke has his Boiler, and Woxic is dead from top mid. Didn't even see him. So 2 kills from m0NESY on the op, so he's doing well, you know. Seems like a good showing so far. Seems like a little bit of a freeze. Wakadia is trying to regroup with Major. I think that this is going to be a late B if I had to guess. Which means that m0NESY is not going to get any action, unfortunately. But you never know. Yep, they're creeping up B. Tessas is already rotating because they're probably realizing the presence of Aurora on B. There's the flash. Now they definitely know it's B. The fact that m0NESY is the one to stay alive. Like, Tessas and Kiyosuke rotate earlier than m0NESY, which is really surprising. Oh, and here comes Wakadia. Good kill. Let's see what he does this round. He is taking the apps position with Tessas coming along with him, actually. So short and long are both completely open. This is an interesting play, considering Kiyosuke is already down and Nico and Kixon are both rotating from B, so I guess the call has been made. Hey, they're in second mid, but both of them actually decide to stay. They don't commit to the rotate. Tessas gets 2 kills as he pushes into apps. m0NESY is going to hear Santaros rotate, so he knows that at least one is still in second mid. Does he know about Woxic and Major, I wonder? From what I'm seeing so far, it kind of feels like he's playing with more discipline. He's not going for as many ego peaks as he was going for when it was on G2. But that could also just be because Nico and Kixen were both on the B sides, and m0NESY was alone on A when TeSeS died and he didn't want to give up the site, which is why he was playing more passive. That's probably what happened. But now that Nico is over on A side with m0NESY, he's actually going to push through mid. m0NESY is gonna follow. m0NESY seems to be very afraid of a lurker. I would personally pick up an M4 here because it's a retake, and I don't know, just in my experience, retaking with an op, considering you're on a clock, is just a bit AIDS, but maybe that's just me. Ooh, where's that molly go? That actually might be a better new box molly than what I'm throwing. And that's a CT side molly as well. It's crazy. Okay, well, he's immediately dead. See, that right there is why I normally retake with rifles and not ops. m0NESY is going to peek B here. Misses the shot on Joda. That's really interesting. How does he miss that? That looks very similar to the miss at the blast pager when they threw that 5v3. Let me see. He was holding too close to the wall. I am really surprised that he misses that, not gonna lie. m0NESY throws the top mid smoke. This is the smoke that I like to throw as well, but he does it off spawn. I wonder if that is the same smoke that I throw, because the one that I throw lands in like deep mid, and the purpose of it is that you can go through mid to peek into second mid without getting shot from pit. Yeah, okay, this one does line in the same spot. I didn't know you could throw that instantly. That's interesting. And yeah, as you can see, they're gonna take aggressive apps control. I mean, it works in terms of info, but they do pay the price. m0NESY again gets left solo to hold the bomb site. This is so interesting from Falcons, like the way they're playing, because I feel like on G2, it was m0NESY that was the rotator, and it felt like Nico was more so the person that was like holding bomb sites like solo more often, at least from what I had seen. This time it feels like Nico's the rotator, m0NESY is the one that holds the bomb site solo late round. I don't want to say he's the anchor because he's definitely not, but like it felt like the way they were playing on G2 and the way they're playing on Falcons, the Nico and m0NESY duo has almost switched roles completely, other than the fact that one's a rifler, one's an opper. That's literally it. Now, does he get anything here? No, he just saves. Yeah, okay. He doesn't go for this. This time he peeks from short. Is he gonna peek into pit? Yes, he is. Oh, narrow miss on Wakadia. I almost feel like his... I don't know what it is. Maybe it's his reaction time that's just like not up to speed. Something like that. I can't quite tell. But again, notice this, yeah? TeSeS is the first to rotate. m0NESY is the one to stay. Very, very interesting. Aurora is actually backing off because of the many smokes on B. They're not gonna commit through it. They don't want to push the smokes too much, so they're gonna go back down banana towards mid. Meanwhile, Wakadia is already in second mid. He's probably gonna go into apps. Could actually have a timing on m0NESY if m0NESY stays, which I doubt he will. Here they come. Be ready. That's one. Gonna re-peek middle, and... death from Major. Man, I don't know, man. I feel like G2 m0NESY would just, you know, hit that flick. But maybe that's just nostalgia. I don't really know. So this round, let's see what he does. There is a long smoke, which he is going to... He's lining himself up to break it, which is interesting. Kiyusuke is hiding in the corner in the smoke. He breaks the smoke. Is that for Kiyusuke to, like... Is that so that Kiyusuke can peek out? Let me see. So m0NESY breaks the smoke. Okay, yeah. That's so that Kiyusuke can peek. Very interesting. It seems like Aurora's T-side is actually surprisingly slow because they're just kind of sitting around in banana. Oh, Xantares is so blind. What is going on? I gotta see this. I have to see this awkward-ass altercation. What was this? Hold on. Hold on. That's fucking amazing. So Xantares goes in first, gets flashed in, and a flash behind him, but he's blind as shit. That's awesome. m0NESY, in the meantime, just waiting for the flank. It seems like m0NESY's job is almost just kill the flank first and then come play with your teammates. B is now entirely empty, which I don't know if Aurora know that. It seems like they do. Well, at least they're confident enough that there's only one here. They have to be bomb site. Did the call come in for Falcons to save or what happened? Okay, well, Wakadia dies to m0NESY. This is a very different playstyle. And the thing is, I don't know if this is Kixen's calling. That's like keeping them this kind of semi-passive don't overpeak style. Basically like a more disciplined style, or if this is actually Nico's doing. I genuinely don't know. Because I feel like on G2, it was more of a style of, okay, we're gonna have a disciplined play style, but because it's Nico and m0NESY, they can also just go for plays if they feel like it. In Falcons, it feels more like they're not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to go for the plays they want to ultimately go for. At least from like a viewer's POV. I could be completely wrong about this because, again, I'm no expert. I'm not a fucking analyst. Ask Pimp about that. Actually, don't. But let's see what happens this round. So, they're taking heavy... Oh my god. How does Zontaras get past Nico again? I gotta see this. I'm sorry I keep switching over to Zontaras, but how does he get past Nico again? No way. Ain't no fucking way we just let that happen. So Nico is just hiding in sandbags, yeah? Sees the molly come out. Here's Zontaras. Plays anti-flash. Completely misses him. That's so 4x3. That's absolutely 4x3. That is insane. If Nico was on his ult res, you would have seen him. And again, they're pushing B, and m0NESY is still on A. I think m0NESY is trying to, like, not over-rotate, which is something that I struggle a lot with as well. A lot of the times I want to rotate, but then I'm like, it could still be a fake, and then I don't rotate, you know? He hears them top mid now, though. He sees the smoke come out. He is going to break the smoke. Actually missed it the first time. He swaps back around too quickly. Ooh, very narrow miss from Zontaras. They actually back off back towards B, which is also where m0NESY is going. This could get interesting. Aurora is committing to B here, but m0NESY is already rotating. Tessas is alone on A. They're walking right into a trap here. They don't even know. 1 kill. Peeked out with his molly. Repeaks with AK. Zontaras is ready for him. Take on the fire. 10 seconds. They get run boosted. What? He burns in the molly. That's 2 kills. Gets flashed in. Who's that behind him? Tessas. He gets flashed in by Tessas and swing. Sees him again with the molly in his hand. The timing is unbelievable. The molly also misses, which is a very fat yikers. Doesn't have a hit. That's really unfortunate. Does Zontaras buy it? No, he does not. And then he peeks anyway. That's just crazy. And he's disciplined. Okay. See, this is where I would have messed up. I don't think I would have realized that there's kits around, so I probably would have just panicked and been like, oh shit, the 10-second thing has started. I gotta save, boys. But he gets the defused. Good round out of Falcons, even though it seemed so messy in mid-round. Do they get an op-out here? m0NESY could drop his AK to Kiyosuke, and then they get an op-out, but I don't think they have the money for that. Yeah. This is, again, something that I've noticed on the old G2, because Kicksan is the IG on this team, okay? I feel like on G2, actually both under Snacks and under Hooksy more so, it felt like Hooksy was more like, okay, m0NESY, Unico, go kill, go do your thing. I'll play on a fucking USB if I have to, or like a P250 or something. Literally on gun rounds, Hooksy would have no armor and a P250. He would empty his entire bank account to be able to afford guns for m0NESY and Nico. It was how Hooksy played. Now, not everyone was a fan of it, but it's just how G2 did their thing back then. But this time you can see Kicksan also has full armor, full util, and a FAMAS. So they're definitely going more for like team play stuff and a bit less like individual stuff. Compared to a team like Aurora, which I still feel plays heavily around Zontaras. Which makes sense considering he is like literally the pride and joy of Turkey. What's interesting to me is as the opera of the team, m0NESY is being very like versatile. He plays short, sometimes he plays long, sometimes he plays apps, sometimes I think it's like dependent on which spawn he gets. Double pit setup from Falcons here, which is interesting. Aurora is still dicking around in Boiler. Kind of hesitant to push through, but maybe now they do. Zontaras is in balcony. Does Zontaras push out first? I'm gonna assume that he does. Oh my god, it's a massacre. How is m0NESY alive? What the fuck is happening? Okay, he gets traded. So far, all I can say is that it's very messy mid-rounding. I feel like the calls in the mid-rounds from Falcons are pretty bad. Early round, they're fine, but it's the mid-round that looks really, really messy. Unless Aurora's just outplaying them that hard. Which, I mean, it's possible. Majors had a few really good calls, but it also just feels like Falcons keeps losing B almost every single round. So, I don't know. See the molly and the flash come out. That's unlucky. That is so unlucky for Wakadia. What the hell was Wakadia trying to do? I think Wakadia wanted to, like, jump around the corner to avoid the headshot angle, and then he just messed it up. I think that's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. Wakadia wanted to jump out of Boiler with his knife out fast towards short to be able to get past m0NESY's crosshair, essentially, so that maybe he could outreact him with his movement that way and get the kill, but he got stuck in the door. Very unlucky. Yeah, I don't know. So far, what I'm seeing on the CT side is that m0NESY just plays a lot more passive. I mean, he's still top fragging. He's still 11-6. Like, he's doing his job. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. It really does feel like he's playing more, like, passively and, like, not going for as many plays, because I feel like G2 m0NESY m0NESY would have, like, I don't know, I feel like there was more room for, like, better plays there if you have enough confidence to go for them, because if you go for the play and you mess it up, then you're also immediately pretty much through the round. The second map is Train. Now, this one's gonna be a bit harder for me to judge because I'm gonna be honest, boys, I don't play Train. I think the map fucking blows, and I promise that's not copium. I've just genuinely never enjoyed Train. I'm just saying I have absolutely zero knowledge on this map. That's already a failed smoke. Good job, Falcons. Well, it's a bad start for Falcons. They're having a really rough day today, it seems like. m0NESY is holding for the A push, dancing around Olaf a little bit, or at least he's holding Olaf, I should say. Gets the flash, gets flashes out. Oh, Nico! Fuck yeah, that's what I like to see. Get yourself another one. Getting suppressed by m0NESY as well. Joda had no chance in that fight. This is good, what I'm seeing so far. They're doubling up, taking a lot of duels, and m0NESY almost immediately rinsing Centaurus. Just Magna left, and the bot kills m0NESY. What is going on? You're telling me m0NESY gets all these gushes and these kills, being an absolutely super valuable player in this round, and then just Magna sits them down. Now imagine if Falcon somehow blow this. Now imagine if... I promise, I was joking. I didn't watch this match. I do not know what happened. That was hilarious. 1v3 with Waketi's position of being known, but he somehow kills tess, which is very unlucky. So tess is the first one to go down. He spots him. Yeah, can't get the kill. That's unlucky. Kyosuke's just letting suppressive fire. Kixan is going for it. And then Kyosuke and Kixan just lose the duels. How do you throw this? All you needed was a shot in the face, and they couldn't even do it. Let's go to the next round. Now, round 3, they all finally have AKs. At least they have... Wait, actually, they have... No, they have 1 AK and 4 Galoots. And interestingly enough, the AK is on m0NESY. I would expect the AK to go to Kyosuke, considering they're kind of playing a bit more around him. But it seems like m0NESY this round is supposed to be the playmaker. Unless m0NESY just didn't listen to the call and just won with the AK himself instead of a Galil. That could have happened. Interesting. Some smoke lineups here. I might have to watch back this demo for these smoke lineups, because I need more util on Train. They don't expect a second. That's a good play from Aurora, though, because you would think they peek together, but they don't. Kixan gets one and gets rinsed by the other. This time it seems like Falcons is going for a B pop. They're setting up in tons, exchanging util. They're actually going back down through pop dog. I kind of expected them to commit to B. Nico, meanwhile, is gonna keep solo fighting B. Try and make space. Major is aware of this, but that's irrelevant right now because Falcons are about to exit out of pop. There's 2 people here, and they all get absolutely rinsed. Yeah, trying to dry peek that with no flashes or anything, that was not the... Well, not the way I would have played that. They know about this guy. They don't know... Yeah, they did not know about Centaurus being there. Aurora right now is really good at leading them all into the trap. All the Falcons, I mean. And then just executing at the right moment. And I mean, it's working. m0NESY is lining up some util. Who's getting the first peek? It seems like Kyosuke is going for the fight first, but he loses to Zantara. I could be wrong about this. You know what I feel like? I feel like Kyosuke would be really good in, like, mobs positions when mobs was on GT with Nico and m0NESY when he was playing, like, kind of anchory positions. If Kyosuke would swap to those, I think he would ball. He would be one of the best. Because as, like, a star rifler slash, like, entry fragger, because I think Kyosuke plays a lot of, like, donk positions, correct? And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like he's not quite up for it against, like, the very best of the world, but that could just be me. We're throwing a bunch of util on B. Oh! Sit fucking down, Mr. Woxic, and Texas cleans house. What a fucking round, even though m0NESY only got 1 kill. It definitely seems like what I said before, that Falcons are trying to go more for team plays and are basically more reluctant to go for individual plays, which I think is kind of where their weak spot is they're too afraid of going for a play that's too huge and might throw the round. I don't know, this team seems so fragile despite how much firepower they have, which is interesting. Fast forward a bit because nothing was really happening. m0NESY is once again holding for the heaven peak, but there's no one even there because there's 4 of Aurora's people on 8. 3 of them being in site, which I can get 2 instead of 1 in connector. 3 on site now. 1 in Ivy, 1 on B. Very, very interesting setup. They're basically just gambling this right now. Very slow plays from Falcons right now. They don't really know what to do. What they don't know is B side is almost completely open. There's just 1 guy there that they need to kill. They're trying to get out of pop again, right into the trap. This isn't gonna work. Yeah, no way. It's an absolute stomp, but they're trying to go back. Nico is going out. m0NESY is going back, trying to make noise, telling them that they've fallen off, but Woxic finds Nico and the round is lost. I don't know. It feels like Falcons is trying to brute force the way a bit too much. That is so unlucky. I don't know. So far, it feels like Falcons is just trying to brute force their way into these rounds a bit too hard, and they're not, like, I don't know, it feels like they're playing, like, they're trying to play structure, but they're still playing with a lot of ego. That's the best way that I can describe what I'm seeing right now. They're on a hero AK buy out of m0NESY. Very interesting that, once again, it's going to m0NESY and not Kyosuke, since, to my understanding, it feels like almost the entire team is playing around Kyosuke. They explode out into the B side. Everyone from Aurora is already here. This is about to be an absolute slaughter. m0NESY! What? What? How did that just happen? How did that happen? They had one AK, literally kill one person, and the round is over, and they couldn't. That was prime 2024 m0NESY right there. That was insane. I can't believe it. This is where things are gonna get a lot more interesting. Falcons could still come back from this. They're only down 5-7. It's really not that bad. They're absolutely rinsing everyone from Aurora, and m0NESY is actually missing a lot. m0NESY on the B side together with azpectCS. Meanwhile, the other three are holding down the A side. All of Aurora are stacked on an eco in Ivy. This is going to be very interesting when they run into Nico and Kixan and all absolutely get rinsed by rifles, right, guys? That's surely what's going to happen. Nico gets the first kill, Kixan gets the second, Nico gets the third. Spread them out over the team, boys. Everyone needs to kills. m0NESY gets the fourth. It's just Tessas left to get the fifth. Come on, Tessas. I believe. Aw, Kixan stole it. You fuck! Some round, we have m0NESY in public with the op with Kyosuke in front of him. They're pushing all the way up. This is a very interesting play, but a good one. They're taking space. It's good. Little do they know, Aurora is actually right behind this wall, but I wonder if they're gonna... Nope. How did that miss? I think m0NESY stepped right, like he taps his A key right before he shot, and that's why it missed. But that, it seemed like m0NESY got CS2'd, I'm not gonna lie. So m0NESY in Ivy, I was gonna say in Pub Dog, but now he's in Ivy. There's actually 4 Aurora players heading this way. Actually, only 3. Major drops the bomb and goes back towards a main. They're about to peek into him. Santana speak? Santana speak? He thinks they're gonna peek on top of the dumpster, which is interesting. Look at how high he's aiming. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, he knows they're coming Ivy. Get your gun out. Come on, hit it. Nope. What? Like, how is this? Oh! That bullet is not at all going where the crosshair says that it's going. That's a bunch of boo hockey. And then m0NESY just... Yeah, you can tell m0NESY's nervous, which is weird. Okay, catches Wicadia with a nade in his hand. That's unlucky, but he is low HP. Boxic dies, but Joda kills Kyosuke. Kixan gets another kill. m0NESY, ooh, spotted by Major. Ooh, didn't know about that repositioning. No. Well, after absolutely blowing that round for absolutely no reason, they're trying to do a B-ramp push. And 3 Aurora players are actually here. Now the question is, can they get the frags? Yes, they can! Okay, now let's lose this round. The 2-on-4. Just play together, stick together. Don't do this, because now m0NESY is alone again, holding 2 positions at the same time. Playing to trade each other, but they're not playing together. I guess that's pretty smart. Nico is sprinting. Yes, holy shit, look at him go! Sprinting his way over to heaven. Meanwhile... Aurora is finally here. They have Molly off m0NESY, but Kyosuke and Nico are still on the other side. So this round's still not lost. m0NESY is actually gonna fully fall off, which is interesting. I would have expected him to just stay and just peek after the Molly fades. Because, I mean, he didn't need to move away, but, you know, fair enough. To be fair, they didn't have the info that both the Aurora players were there. Kyosuke and Nico are holding it down. Nico absolutely demolishes Major, and Kyosuke gets the last kill. m0NESY glass cannons this. He has an AWP, no armor, smoke, and flash. Very interesting. Tessas pushes up ahead. That's 1 kill. Ooh, okay. I'm surprised Tessas doesn't get that, man. Tessas is really struggling right now. But they get 2 kills, just courtesy of m0NESY, which is interesting. Kixan is on a deagle, which is interesting because he's the... Yeah, he's mechanically the worst player. Oh, wait. Kixan dies. Oh, the util goes down. What's the setup looking like? m0NESY again, solo on B. Meanwhile, Kyosuke is playing back a bomb site, and Nico is in Ivy. Major's creeping up around Red Train. m0NESY sees absolutely nothing here. I'm actually really surprised that I don't, like, call anything out. Oh my god. The fact that got really hairy, to be honest. Azure was so close to Kyosuke for the longest time without knowing he was that. That was crazy. But Woxic, is he about to be the difference maker of this round? He smokes himself off to get the plant, I'm guessing? Yeah. Honestly thinks it's a fake, but it's actually just a stick. Now they know that Woxic is in backside, pretty close to m0NESY, so they know where he is. No fucking way. He creeps through the smoke. m0NESY doesn't know about this. He does not know. Oh! There's that G2 m0NESY flick. That's what I was waiting for. Thank you. Still cannot believe they almost threw that. What the hell is Falcons doing? Now, obviously, these two demos don't tell the full story of what is going on with m0NESY, but what I can say from watching these two demos just now, from what I have seen, it seems like m0NESY isn't really allowed to play in the way that he wants to play, and that's probably because he had to give up some of his positions for Kyosuke. But to be fair, Kyosuke also just isn't delivering, which is why I had the idea of, why don't you put in the G2 setup and you basically just make Kyosuke the next mobs, where you let Nico and m0NESY play the positions they want to play, and then Kyosuke plays entry on T side and plays anchor on CT side, because I feel like he would thrive a lot more in that position. Unfortunately, Kyosuke is Russian, so he has an ego that goes from here till fucking Singapore, so that's probably never gonna happen. Now, as of me recording this, Falcons is actually playing tomorrow against Virtus Pro. By the time this video is up, the match will probably already be over, because I don't think I can edit this video that fast, but we'll see. I'm very curious. Thank you guys very much for watching this video, and I'll see you later. Peace.